everybody, and welcome to the first ever of our new live stream series, Rise Market Live. I am your host, Marie Dementh. My pronouns are she, her, and I am so excited to kick off this new series with the one and only Allie Barnes of Allyson Lea Designs. As you've heard at the end of our episodes on Patreon, not only is Allie an amazing designer, she is also the co-founder of Rise Market. Oh my God. So please welcome to the virtual stage, Allie Barnes. Woo, 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 woo.
Hello.
I'm so glad we're doing this. Yay. Thank you for joining me this evening. Super excited to do this. And once again, thank you for supporting the show as much as you've done over the last year. And now this new way that we get to support one another is super great. Like very excited, my friend.
Yes. So excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, of course. Before we get started, can you go ahead and share your pronouns with us, please?
Sure. My pronouns are she, they.
Amazing. Well, thank you. So, where are you currently based?
So right now I live with my incredible partner Eli and our dog Callie in Austin.
Yes, amazing. A little bit of a backstory for those of you who are joining who may not know either of us familiarly. Not sure if that's a word. Gonna keep it. But a long time ago in a galaxy far away, Allie and I used to be two badass front ladies of some amazing local bands, West in the Grooves and Class Action, and we raised a lot of cane, as one might say, back then. And now we're able to work together and I don't know, explore our creative selves and our true boss potential selves as well, all in one fell swoop. And with that, you've gone from doing music to ceramics, and now you are a fucking amazing jeweler, which I love. So can you talk a little bit about how you got into jewelry design, how you like to create, a little bit about your process maybe?
Sure. So I actually grew up around a lot of jewelry because my dad owned a local jewelry shop in my hometown. So I was around it a lot. I wasn't super into wearing it, but I remember spending hours and hours at the back of the shop just watching the jewelers and like being fascinated by the process and all the different techniques they were doing. I did not know it would come full circle back.
Right.
Yeah. So I always kind of gravitated towards like painting and drawing.
Mm-hmm.
I was super shy and reserved as a kid. So that was like my main form of expression, just what came naturally. And eventually I went to school for it at UNT, which led me to find a new love of creating music, which was so different than anything I had ever done before. I really got to see like the more collaborative side of art.
Right.
And I got to meet so many incredible people, including you. So it's super special for that reason. So yeah, I did music for a while, and then eventually I moved to Austin about 6 years ago. And I just kind of stumbled upon a local market and I instantly fell in love. I specifically remember meeting one vendor called Diamonds and Rust, and she made handmade jewelry. And it just kind of like hit me in that moment that jewelry, I saw like the real value of handmade jewelry versus like the jewelry I was buying from like Forever 21 and, in my teenage years and all of that manufactured stuff in other countries. And it just kind of hit me. And I was just like, hey, I could do this. And then I ended up getting a job at a local bead shop and met some incredible people there and just kind of like dove in. And now I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. What a perfect summation of all of your creative things that you've had the chance to enjoy. That's really awesome. And tiny shout out to Beat It. Is that still in business?
They actually just closed down recently.
Okay.
But I think they do have a booth in Uncommon Goods. I just saw it recently, so super happy for them.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's amazing. Well,
Yeah.
shout out to the Beat It team, shout out to UNT and all of the other places that you've had the chance to kind of grow and fuel where you are today. I actually didn't know that part about your dad being a jeweler. That's really awesome. Um,
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense for where you grew up as well. And I don't know, I just think that your jewelry is like one of the most fitting creative things that you've done in the time that I've known you. It's so just like if you get the time to meet Allie, and which I hope all of you who are watching do, Allie has a very kind and unique heart and very unique, just like energy to themselves and the work that they do. And it really shines in the pieces that you make. For instance, the piece that I am wearing now.
Thank you so much. You're like
Yeah.
one of my biggest supporters, and I seriously appreciate it so much. Like
Oh, of
I love
course.
seeing you deck out my jewelry all the time. It makes me so happy.
I literally wear these earrings every day. Like,
Aw,
here you
that's
go,
amazing.
folks. So tell them, can you tell the people what's made of this earring that I'm holding up right now?
Yes, so that is actually made, I hand formed and hammered that out of like 12 gauge brass wire.
Oh my
And
God.
then, yeah, wire wrapped. I think that's a Herkimer diamond and
I
a
think
little mini
so.
charm. Yeah.
Yes. That is so crazy. So these brass pieces you say from the wire, this comes from like a thin wire, right?
Yeah, it just comes from like a round spool of wire. And then I hand form, hammer, measure, drill the hole, wire wrap.
Wow. Totally
Yeah.
from pure scratch, from pure scratch. That's crazy. So what do you think it is that you love the most about the work that you create? Obviously, you've listed lots of really wonderful things that you've had the opportunity to enjoy, but there must be something specific about jewelry other than, like your background of like what it is to motivate you to keep going, you know what I mean, to keep picking up your tools and making jewelry every day.
Yeah, definitely. I think the thing that I love most about my designs is that they kind of end up being like an actual extension of someone's body. And that individual chooses the journey of that piece and where they want to take it and how they want to wear it. Like for some people, it might just be like a daily inspiration. And then for others, it could be like a piece of armor that they put on if they like want to feel a certain way or be empowered. Um, so I guess just really seeing like the connection that people have to my pieces and then what they create with it from there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Hamila had some of the same things to say about the work that she makes that specifically like her line of jewelry that is named after individuals who have names that you don't see in regular nomenclature, I guess, of how we name products and whatnot. And I really loved the story behind that too. So also available on Rise Market. Please check out Hamila. Um,
Seriously, her stuff is incredible. She's a huge inspiration.
her
Yeah.
Arcosanti staircase pieces really just get me every time. And to see it right next to the staircase picture as well is just like, I don't know.
Incredible.
I
Yeah,
was
it's so
invited.
it's
We
so
were all
great.
invited to go. We should go and visit when
I
it's
saw
safe.
that. Let's all get that vaccine and go.
Hey, there you go. Let's all get that vaccine and go visit Arcosanti, Arizona. Yes, Arizona. So speaking of Hamila and speaking of other people's pieces and stories behind people's pieces, the whole thing, the great overarching thing that has brought us together today is obviously Rise Market. Um, like we've mentioned, it's a wonderful space. We've said it several times on the show for the podcast. We have our merch on there as well. Um, can you speak to a little bit of the history behind Rise Market? I know it's very new, but it does have history. Can you just share with us, what inspired you, how it came to be, et cetera, and maybe a couple details of what you can find on there now?
Sure. So last year after COVID hit and started closing down all the markets, um, I was devastated and my income went to zero, as well as a ton of other creative
Yeah.
entrepreneurs. And I kind of, we saw how it was affecting me and the community. And we were kind of just like, there has to be an easier and better way to connect. Um, and so we just kind of started to think about what that would look like. And we started to imagine what a diverse, inclusive, fair virtual marketplace could be. And we both have learned so many new skills and challenged ourselves in so many ways that I never thought I would, honestly.
Right.
It's been such an incredible journey, like where we are now versus where we were last year at this time, even.
Right.
It's about a year actually from when we came up with the idea.
Hell yeah. All of that sounds amazing. So tell me a little bit about what you can find on the market now. Obviously, it's by the LGBTQIA community, BIPOC community, for our communities as well. But I mean, you've got, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but you've got over 160 different vendors currently listed on that market, which is like, what, in less than a year. I want to, as somebody who comes from a marketing background, I'm like, y'all, these milestones that you are hitting are like not 1 years. You are like an accelerated growing baby who's in the like top 100 percentile of maximum growth. You're doing it. You're just making so many wonderful strides. So I'll stop my compliment train so we can get off at the stop where you tell us all about the wonderful things that you can find on Rise Market.
Yeah, so we have quite a variety of things. There's a lot of jewelry, illustration, some clothes, but there's also services. Like there's a few people that do tarot readings. There's a few people that do like private parties, that kind of thing. So yeah, there's a variety of things that you can find on there.
I think that's such a great idea too. Our last week's picks or a couple weeks ago, I should say, our Rise Market artist picks of the week. Excuse me. One of them is the House of Body. And that was the first time I had come across a service-based vendor on Rise Market, and was very excited and very blown away, and sad that they are not near me, but also excited that some of the stuff can still be accessed virtually, which is really cool.
Yeah, they're incredible.
Can you tell me, do you know, like, okay, so let me preface this with, do you have vendors who are outside of the US on the market?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
Yeah, we have a couple.
So like, it's not just US and Canada. We're talking like you're getting people, we're going global.
Yeah, we welcome anyone. Like, yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so let's say I wanted to be a vendor on the market. What do I have to do to meet the requirements, and what's the process look like in order to become a listed vendor on your market?
So basically, you would need to identify as LGBTQIA plus or BIPOC, since those are the communities that we're focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would go to risemarket.live. There's a little button that says sign up to be a vendor. And it's honestly just like as easy as that. You sign up, we get back to you in about 3 days. And then you can start uploading your listings and kind of like making your shop like feel like your brand. There's a few different things that you can like change pictures and colors to give it your aesthetic. And yeah.
That's perfect. So it's a lot like Etsy, but like fair.
Yes. And
yes.
Gay. I love that so much. Like that's been honestly my favorite description of Rise to this day. It's like Etsy, but fair and gay.
Make it fair and really gay. But also BIPOC, it's everything. Yeah. It really is everything and more though. Like every time I get on there, I am so impressed by the content that I see. I'm constantly going through and following new people on social media and checking out their stuff. It's I don't know. I'm just like overloaded by how impressed I am by all of these different super creative people from literally all over the world who we're able to access under one roof. And like, I really could not tell you of another place that's like this. I'm sure you've done all of your market research and probably searched high and low and did not find anything similar to this as at this level of, oh my gosh, not inventory, but this level of magnitude of services and listings that you offer.
Yeah.
You're truly
Yeah. It's
unique.
pretty awesome. Yeah.
It's pretty amazing. So we've got this market. You've obviously have had a great time establishing yourselves as a brand, creating this space for these vendors. Unfortunately, it's had, blessing and burden that it happened during the pandemic. So I guess I should preface this next question with, do you think had the pandemic not happened that you would have created this same space?
Honestly, I don't think so. Like, having that happen like made me look at myself in the mirror and like be like, what am I doing and what do I want to do? And yeah, I don't think I ever would have come to that conclusion had this not happened.
Wow, that's so
Yeah.
crazy. And it's
Yeah.
such a great way to flex some of the muscles that you have to build in order to be like a successful small business owner, having to put that much like power and not necessarily power, but like responsibility on yourself to not only like create a space for yourself, but to create space for others too, where they can succeed just like you. It's a very community type thing. It is very I think that, and this is something that we've talked about a lot in the past, the importance of community and the importance of like things like mutual aid and reestablishing how we operate in our spending habits, what our spending behavior in general. um and and within all of that, what has had to drastically change in order to continue to survive something like a global pandemic. So it's really wild. And that is super wild to me, of you thinking that you may not have done it had the pandemic not happened, because it makes people think of like what situations will do to
Yeah.
you and your I don't know, I don't want to say desperation. That is definitely not the word that I'm looking for. Your drive, your thrive, your need to survive, I
Yes.
guess. God, yeah.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah,
Total life
definitely. No
system.
one's ever asked me that. I've never had to think about that. So thank you for reminding me.
I'm sorry if I blew your mind a little too much. Stay here. It's great that you did it. We're so glad that you did. That's for sure. So glad that y'all did that. So with the pandemic, hopefully we're looking at an end of sorts, a return to some sort of new normal, where we're able to have open air markets, indoor markets, things of that nature, kind of go back to what one would consider normal if they operated in this kind of an environment. What does that mean for Rise? Are you all looking to host your own markets? What's the plan once we're able to interact, you know what I mean, face to face safely again?
Yeah, so we definitely want to collaborate with other people in the industry that are already doing in-person markets.
Awesome.
Yeah, we want to kind of like form those relationships and do those collaborations. Possibly do our own eventually. I'm not sure. Neither of us have a background in that. So
Word.
I think we're leaning more towards like collaborating with people, and still, going full throttle on the marketplace, but also featuring a lot of these same vendors, hopefully in person too, as well as online at the same time.
Awesome. That would be super cool. We're always down to partner. I'm just saying. I can hear Kate Vance right now being like, hire me there. Everybody make sure to hire Kate Vance to do your designs. She is an amazing artist and we love her work. Also fellow groove queen.
Incredible. Isn't that one of their paintings right behind you?
You know what? It absolutely is. Here, let me move.
It's amazing.
So this is a Kate Vance original. This is an art project from college that none of you will ever have. all for me. All bam. Yeah,
I
so
love
this is
seeing it.
yeah, this one is my favorite. So this is Kate Vance, this is Travis Sykes, and then this is Orlando Brown. So local art, man. We
All
all
incredible
know.
artists.
Yeah, good to have. So we've talked about what the future is of Rise Market. We've obviously talked a little bit about the beginning, but let's talk a little bit about the middle. What do you think has been the most challenging, and what has been the most rewarding about bringing this market to the market?
Yeah. So most challenging, I would definitely have to say trying to navigate imposter syndrome. I think all of us creatives can agree and sympathize with how real that is and how much of a struggle it is, especially when you're doing things that you have to learn new skills, things that you're not comfortable with or confident in. So yeah, I would say that's been the most challenging, and for most rewarding would definitely be connecting with all these incredible queer entrepreneurs and artists. Like, they constantly blow my mind, and I have so many brands and people that I look up to now that I would have never found if it weren't for Rise. Like, half of the brands that I know and like love to support now, I have found because of Rise. And yeah, it's very rewarding.
I love that. That is so perfect.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. I think every single account that I've come across on that platform just blows my mind, and it's so nice to be able to find things that, like face masks and buttons and pins and keychains and glasses chains and things like that, all under one place, so I don't have to go and shop at like Amazon. And I know that the money that I'm spending at Rise Market is directly impacting the local business economy in those areas, not only from like a general perspective, but like an LGBTQIA and BIPOC perspective. And so I think people forget about where their dollar goes, especially during the holiday season, especially during times when, we're still, for the time being, kind of stuck at home and not able to explore and go on vacation out of state and check out open air markets on a weekend there and meet a vendor that way, and with the ever changing algorithm of Instagram, it's been, it's hard to discover new stuff on that platform too. So everything is super limiting, especially in these very niche markets. And I just want to reiterate again, I think it is so great that you've taken charge and provided a solution to a problem that needed to be solved, quite frankly. Again, I can't think of any other place that offers the same level of service that you do, the same level of equity that I have found, amongst the vendors themselves, and at good prices, and, levels of transparency that make sense. you know um I could sit here and probably brag about you all day.
I'll listen.
I will keep going. Well, Allie, I have had such a great time talking with you today about everything there is to know about Rise Market and your jewelry as well. But before we go, is there anything particular that you'd like to plug that's coming up about Rise Market that people should know more about, specifically shoppers and vendors?
Cool. Yeah. So this month we are doing Queer Heart on Rise.
So
we
cute.
Yeah, Eli came up with it. Props to Eli. Yeah. But we have a ton of new vendors and a lot of new vendors from Austin, which is super exciting.
Way to go.
And then mark your calendar on February 20th at 8 p.m. We will be streaming our first international drag show. Yeah, and it's going to be hosted by Bad Poppy Miami from Florida.
Ooh,
Yes,
okay.
very intrigued, and I'm very excited for this show. We'll actually be doing those monthly. So
Okay.
if you're a LGBTQIA performer, artist, there's violinists, there's aerialists, there's opera singers, the list goes on. It's so incredible. But yes, I highly suggest anyone that would be interested in that to apply, and you would head to queerexchange.com.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that'll have like the full lineup and all the shows and like how to apply and get involved. Yeah, that's actually another platform that we're creating. We're trying to not have to rely on Facebook and Instagram so much.
Yeah.
Because they block a lot of our ads, they censor us. They don't let people see our Instagram if they don't have their birth date entered to prove that they're over 18. Yeah, it's just crazy. So yeah, we just are launching Queer Exchange as well, which will kind of be the center of that community, resource sharing, all the lineups for the shows where you can apply to be in a show. So yeah, that's super exciting as well.
Yeah. What a great idea. That's a perfect thing. What a great solution. And I think a lot of people are having to do that, especially individuals who operate outside of like quote unquote traditional business. You know, Facebook and Instagram are coming together to ruin all of our productivity and our ability to market due to some very unfair laws and some very unfair rules. Um, a lot of this has come up, you know, recently. We've talked about this in the past as well with a few sex workers on the show who've had to do a lot of the same kind of reworking because of new rules that are put into place. Everybody's moving off of Facebook and Instagram, going to places like Twitter or doing like what you're doing, creating new spaces entirely for people to engage because there's literally nothing else that exists. So,
yeah,
props to you on that. And so is that queerexchange.com?
Yeah, that's
Cool.
queerexchange.com.
Excellent.
And then another exciting thing about 2021 is partnering with you, incredible people, and doing our
Yay!
bi-weekly artist picks. And
Yes.
I'm so happy to be the first one. So that's super
Yeah.
exciting.
You are absolutely right. I am super excited for this partnership. It's going to be a kick-ass time, and I can't wait for people to join us at future live streams that we'll be doing. Speaking of, our next live stream is actually Wednesday, March 17th, and we're going to be sitting down with Franks Forever. Cannot wait. Franks Forever is a Latin rap artist, and they are an amazing performer. And I found them through you and Rise Market, actually. So, which makes sense because all of our people will be featuring conveniently are going to be available on Rise Market. So, where can you go through one more time all of the social media handles and website information on how to find Rise Market information?
Sure. So the website is risemarket.live. And then our Facebook and Instagram handles are both at risemarket.live.
Perfect. Hell yeah. Well, Allie, thank you so much for joining me today. I've had such a good time sitting down with you in a new way to connect. I love you and I am so proud of you. And I am so excited for all of the fun things we're going to get to create together in support of fellow artists and local business owners from our community. Hell yeah. So, folks, that does it for us today on our Rise Market live stream. Our first one is in the books. We have had such a great time. Like I said earlier, tune in next month, Wednesday, March 17th at 7 p.m. Central, where we'll be sitting down with local artist Franks Forever. You can find more information about What the Femme podcast by visiting our website at www.whatthefemmepodcast.com. Or you can visit the link in our bio for more information on how to stream our show and subscribe to all the other fun things that we have going on. So, all right, Allie, that does it for us this evening. We'll talk to you next time. Thanks, friends.
Bye.
Bye.